Thank you. Elle nous revient, c'est pas la première fois. Et puis, pour cette deuxième fois encore, une rencontre toujours enrichissante parce que quand on parle, ça ne finit pas avec Emelda, qu'on ne présente plus, qui est... elle est coach. Elle a beaucoup de casquettes. Donc, elle est coach, elle est speaker, elle est entrepreneur, elle est écrivaine, elle est tout ça. Et justement, c'est son expérience qu'elle essaie de partager avec beaucoup et motiver aussi les autres dans le leadership ici au Cameroun et dans le monde entier. En tout cas, merci d'avoir accepté notre invitation et merci de t'être rendu disponible pour cette émission The Rendez-vous.
Thank you for having me.
Cathy, tu disais que tu voulais la présenter.
Ah, you've said it already.
En français, j'ai dit en français, non.
Hey, Father Lord.
Maintenant, quand c'est anglais, tu pleures.
I know, et du Father Lord, on commence à prier. Which of the two?
I think I need to start praying.
Which of the two?
Anyway,
celle-là.
This one, okay.
King Emeldine.
Yeah, but everyone calls me King.
King. Her profile is just so long. Mireille said she's a coach, an entrepreneur, a speaker, a writer, in fact, a motivational speaker. In fact, if we want to start naming all her profiles, it's going to be too long. I think it's going to take like 30 minutes of this program. We're happy this is not the first time we're having her on the show. And it's always interesting, like there is something you learn from her. She is like, when I say an intelligent, when you look at her physique now, there is that charisma. Intelligence is also there. In fact, those from the Northwest region, I salute you now. We have King. King in the building, you're welcome once more.
Thanks for having me. It's so good to be back. Enchantée.
Encore.
Tu vois que le français a sa mémoire. Tu vois que je suis de retour cette fois-ci avec vengeance. Mon français est parfaitement parfait.
Non, attends, vous êtes une intellectuelle. Et si on me passe la parole, je veux un peu essayer de... Parce qu'il y a des gens ici dehors qui est Queen. Parfois tu dis que...
Pas Queen, King.
King.
Hey.
King, il y a des gens ici dehors que quand tu lui dis qu'il est illettré, il ne sait pas que peut-être tu es en train de... Je ne sais pas comment on dit ça. En fait, je veux donner ici la différence entre un analphabète et un illettré. Il y a des gens ici dehors qui ne méritent même pas être illettrés.
Wow.
Parce que...
Speak French.
Donnez-leur par exemple la différence qui existe entre un analphabète et un illettré. Parce qu'on dit qu'entre les deux, il y a quelqu'un au moins qui est parti à l'école. Mais l'autre qui n'est même pas que. Il y a une différence, non?
Oui, il y a une différence.
Voilà.
Un analphabète.
Un illettré au moins parti à l'école avant que. Mais un analphabète.
N'est jamais.
Oh là là! Oh là là!
Donc, please, I want to understand what he's struggling to say. What he's trying to say.
Dans Francis Tron, on va.
Je suis même déjà voyagé, revenu ici.
Lance-nous le thème.
Break it down, break it down.
Can you break it down for me to understand as well? Because you know, it's good to learn so that tomorrow I can use this, what you're saying here, I'll use it on another person.
Je dois utiliser pour épater quelqu'un d'autre. Just destabilize the
alphabet. Analphabet.
Celui qui n'est pas, qui n'est même jamais allé à l'école.
Quoi?
Analphabète. Analphabète.
Quelqu'un qui n'a pas allé.
Il n'est jamais allé à l'école.
Et maintenant, un illettré, lui, au moins, s'il est déjà allé, mais il n'a peut-être pas obtenu des grands diplômes.
Ok.
Et parfois, il ne sait même pas bien lire. Mais quand même,
il ne sait pas lire. Il ne sait pas bien lire. Illettré vient de lettres. C'est des lettres.
Mais quand même, il est...
Voilà.
Donc, quand tu suis quelqu'un en alphabet, tu l'as tué. Et donc, qui...
On est sûr comment? What's the phrase?
Tu peux encore dire illettré, ça s'améliore un peu.
Non, pourquoi il ne comprend pas?
C'est même soft.
Yes, it's so soft. Pourquoi il ne comprend pas? Lui-même va aller demander que what's the meaning of that word she used.
Non, parce que c'est un français qui est trop élevé pour lui.
Tu sais que les blancs arrangent le français.
C'est ça que moi.
Il y a par exemple entre bordel et prostituée. Prostituée, il soft. Prostituée, il soft.
Bordel,
est plus bête. How about Wolowos?
Wolowos.
of personal development, leadership and coaching.
Yes.
Voilà, c'est notre thème ce matin. En français, je vais vous lire, je vais vous dire ce que ça veut dire, l'importance En fait, on parle de l'importance, comment l'éducation et l'alphabétisation peuvent-elles améliorer la capacité de prise de décision. Voilà. The importance of personal coaching development. Je ne sais pas si on va aller faire le mot à mot, l'importance du développement personnel, le leadership et le coaching. Voilà.
Exactement.
Bon, justement. Alors, on pose la question, puisque Emeldine, c'est la spécialiste de la chose. Quand on parle du développement personnel, c'est vrai qu'on a l'éducation, et c'est aujourd'hui même la rentrée,
la rentrée scolaire,
voilà, pour les enfants.
Pour les enfants.
Voilà, c'est ça. Et on parle d'éducation, on parle de l'alphabétisation aussi en même temps pour ces enfants. Donc, pour ces jeunes, et même pas seulement les jeunes, les hommes, les femmes comme enfants aujourd'hui dans ce coaching-là. Alors, en développement personnel, est-ce que forcément ça concorde avec les Africains?
So that's a very good question, right? I think that Africans are now beginning to see the importance of personal development. It's not been very prevalent, but we need it. You know why? Because all around, I'll take Cameroon in particular, all around Cameroon right now, we're talking about leadership. It's it's a conversation that's ongoing in Cameroon right now. But you have to back up 2 steps and say, can you really have effective leadership without growing personally? Because a leader is a person. I believe that you have to grow personally first before becoming a really good leader. Otherwise, you'll just stay at the very first stage of leadership, which is by virtue of your position. So you have a title at STV, you have a title at the bank, you have a title at your company, maybe in your family, it's just a title. But the way you communicate with your family members, the way you communicate with your employees, the way you communicate with others, your friends, does not show that you have grown personally. So it's not a term that's very familiar to Africans right now, and Cameroonians in particular, but I think that everyone is stepping up their game. It's something that we have to embrace, because it really, if you're thinking about becoming successful or even living a fulfilled life, you have to make personal development a must. There's really no way, because it goes with expanding your mind in almost every area. So there's no way you can have incredible success and live a fulfilled life without growing as a person. You cannot neglect the temple call you.
King, I want to ask a question. The first question I want to ask, like, what are the core principles of leadership or coaching?
When you say what are the core principles, what do you mean?
Core principles, or what are the principles of leadership coaching?
Of leadership and coaching, or just because so leadership is one thing.
Leadership and coaching.
How do they correlate? Because if you're talking about the core for both of them, so with leadership, you have to first of all ask yourself, what is leadership, right? Leadership in a single sentence is influence. When we talk about a leader, it is someone who, let's say all of us here at STV, we have one goal: to make the show the best show ever. Whoever is the leader is that person who's able to communicate to us the vision for this show, and to get all of us inspired and motivated to achieve that goal, right? So it starts with being able to influence people. Coaching, on the other hand, is more about, I see Kathy wants to become the best journalist in Cameroon. I see where Kathy is right now, and this is how much we have to go through to bring her to where she wants to go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So at the core of it, or be you either a leader or a coach, I find service to be very important. So you're going to hear a lot, we talk about servant leadership, right? Service to the people whom you're leading, and service to the people whom you're coaching. Does that make sense?
It does.
So leadership and coaching, that's why I like when we talked about personal development, leadership, and then coaching. Because they intertwine. And for me, all of them, if you can master all of them or grow every year your capacity in all of them, the ultimate end would be success and fulfillment.
Ok.
Mais moi, je voulais revenir toujours sur le développement personnel, parce que ça crée un gros débat depuis un certain temps sur la toile, qui dit, parce qu'on dit que le développement personnel, est-ce que les Africains ont vraiment besoin du développement personnel? Moi, j'ai entendu quelqu'un, un autre, vraiment, j'ai entendu un coach le dire en disant que normalement, même pour lui, je préfère taire le nom parce que j'ai regardé sur les réseaux sociaux, pour lui, l'Africain n'a pas besoin du développement personnel.
Pourquoi ça?
Je ne sais pas pourquoi. Il dit que ça ne cadre pas avec notre environnement.
Comment est-ce que ça ne cadre pas?
Peut-être, je n'ai rien compris. Je ne sais pas où il jouait sur les mots. Je ne sais pas où il jouait sur les mots parce qu'il parlait de n'a pas besoin. Moi, quand j'ai même écouté ça, j'ai même zappé. Mais moi, toi qui es justement dans le développement personnel, on voit quand même aujourd'hui des personnes qui ont été, par exemple, brisées sur le plan sentimental, brisées émotionnellement parlant, spirituellement parlant, mais comment devrait-on intervenir comment maintenant devrait intervenir le développement personnel pour redonner justement confiance à ces personnes-là? Parce que j'ai même écouté une histoire d'un jeune garçon qui dit son père ne lui a jamais dit je t'aime.
Yes, exactly.
Sa mère ne lui a jamais dit je t'aime. Parce qu'il travaillait dur la nuit, il sortait la nuit, il allait travailler et chaque fois qu'il ramenait l'argent à la maison, c'était pour donner à ses parents. Et son père lui a dit je t'aime avant de mourir seulement.
When he's already, so it's not in our.
C'est un Africain.
So I understand that in our culture, right? We're not used to saying thank you. I love you. I see everywhere I go, oh my gosh, I love your hair, I love your jacket, I love your smile. You're complimenting someone because I promise you, many people are not used to being complimented.
Voilà.
I personally make it a point. Before I go to bed, there's a couple of things I run through. Did I say something nice to at least 5 people? My rule is always 5. Before the day is over, if I'm interacting with the kids in the house helps, everybody I come in contact with, what did I say to really just lift them up? Do you understand? Besides us having deep conversation. But yes, there's so many children. As a matter of fact, I don't want to even worry about the children. There's so many adults in Cameroon, men and women right now, who act a certain way because of what someone whom they love deeply and looked up to said something damaging to them when they were young. That's the honest truth. In the context of being an African, yes, we have thick skin. We were raised to have thick skin. But not everybody has that thick skin to survive some of the words that was said to them or some of the experiences that they live, qu'ils ont vécu en tant que les enfants. Par exemple, chez nous, on dit, mouf, ta grosse tête, bêtise, tu es folle, tu es fou, c'est normal, te taper, te gifler, crier, gronder, c'est comme c'est nous. That's African. But it's not good. There's some children whom beating them, mais on me frappait, parce que moi j'étais un tomboy. I knew that when I go and come back, all they'll do is they'll beat me. I was ready for the beating. Mon père me disait, allez, va prendre, go bring your cane. Give me. Frap. It didn't mean he did not love me. I didn't care. I already did what I wanted. But if you did that to one of my sisters, who was weaker, the direct translation would be, il ne m'aime pas. Mon père ne m'aime pas. Il me frappe chaque jour, il me tape chaque jour, il me gronde chaque jour, but he doesn't love me. Why? So you have to understand different people, your children, your colleagues, the people you work with. Je peux entrer ici, je dis Calvin, mais tu es laid comme il n'est pas permis. On va sourire, mais si je te dis ça, oh my gosh, tu vas mal prendre. So it's about knowing how to talk to people. So you come to this age, there are many people who are like that, who are carrying baggage from childhood. So I do a lot of life coaching, right? I'm certified in something called mental emotional release stress therapy. And I found out that, this is even in America, I've coached a few Cameroonians in America, but I found out that the problems that show up at your work, in your personal life, in your family life, 9 out of 10 times, if I can go back to your childhood, I can see the root cause of that problem. So there's a term where we say you heal the girl, you heal the woman. You heal the boy, you heal the man. Donc tout ce qui se présente maintenant, ça n'a rien, the anger, the ego, the arrogance, ça n'a rien à foutre avec where he is right now. The unhappiness is not showing up. It's from their childhood, where you can go back. And as an African, ce que le monsieur là est en train de dire, c'est que en tant qu'Africain, we're rugged, we're hard, we're not used to all these emotional things, but we're human beings before we're Africans. Tu comprends un peu? God, the network of a human, the body, your cells and everything, there's no one that's like different.
Est-ce que ce type de personne a besoin de
développer
d'un coaching de
they need life, they need that. They need coaching. They need to have so I would say coaching, but it's more in terms of if I work with you and I see that, because it could be different. Some of them are psychological, some of them are emotional, some of them are from your relationships. So depending on where it's coming from, you could say, hey, you need to go meet a therapist or a counselor, someone that can help you specifically with this, because your problem that's showing up in every area in your life is not there. It's because you're hurt emotionally or in your relationship. So you need a counselor or a therapist. You see what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. So having these counselors and therapists is very important. Et les Africains we need to come out of this stigma that you don't need a therapist or a counselor. If anything, Africans need a therapist and a counselor more than anything else, just to even survive in the environment.
I think that's the main reason why maybe we have most schools here in Cameroon now, they do have these guidance counselors.
Exactly.
Yes, it's all included. Like there is no school.
No,
I don't think that does not have a counselor.
Yes, and I didn't know that. So when I came and I met with the ministry to talk about my mentorship program for young girls, I was thinking one of my suggestions was we need a guidance counselor, because that's what they have abroad, right? So copy the good things. So I proposed, let's have guidance counselors. I was shocked when she said, because in our time I don't remember a guidance counselor in my school. I was shocked when she said that we have guidance counselors, and I actually met with them. I went to Yaoundé.
Ils sont très peu.
Ils sont très peu, mais au moins ils en ont. Iana, tu vois un peu. So I met with the National Pedagogic Advisor for guidance counselors. We met with the initial people who take the calls. They even have numbers that you can call to talk to if you have problems at home, problems at school, and things like that. That was very exciting to me. I think every school now, I don't know the number of guidance counselors because I've not progressed with that, but that's something that I am personally passionate about as I'm coming back into Cameroon and giving back. Of course, I'm always going to be back and forth. That's something that we have to encourage in every school, and not just certified guidance counselors. I mean, people who truly take it as a passion.
As a passion.
Yes, because I can be certified and go to school for something, but it doesn't come naturally to me. I think if we have those, it will help a lot of the emotional, psychological, mental stress and trauma that's prevalent in Africa.
Comme ce que Megas vient de dire là, un père et une mère qui n'ont jamais dit je t'aime à leurs enfants. Et lorsqu'il est en train de vouloir mourir, il dit à son fils je t'aime. Ma première question c'est que est-ce qu'il n'aurait pas pu dire à son fils que je t'aimais? Et de deux, je veux savoir pourquoi est-ce que nous les Africains on n'arrive pas à dire je t'aime à nos enfants. Chez les blancs quand on regarde la télé, ils sont constamment dit oh, je t'aime mon fils, je t'aime, je t'aime, je t'aime. Ils vont même plus loin parfois. Tu vois le père faire le bisou à sa fille. Donc, la question c'est pourquoi nous, est-ce que c'est notre mœurs? Pourquoi c'est comme ça?
C'est parce que, I think because again, tu vois, on va rentrer à ce qu'elle vient de dire, qui m'embête chaque fois. We are Africans.
We are Africans.
Why?
Voilà.
Okay, we're Africans.
You know
but hold up.
Mais on est des humains avant tout.
We're Africans, but don't we copy a lot of other things from there?
We do. You know what I said? We're Africans.
We're Africans when it suits us.
Mais pourquoi on ne porte pas les vêtements des
Regarde-nous tous ici, qui porte
les vêtements des blancs.
Il fallait porter les bamoun trucs, mais
voilà, on dit qu'on est africain. On est africain.
C'est même que moi qui sauve avec ça.
Tu ne sauves rien. Tu ne sauves rien.
Toi non. Il n'y a que toi vraiment, effectivement. So here's the thing, we have to go away from saying we are Africans and really own the things that we can improve on. We're human beings. I don't consider myself African. Wherever I go, I am a human being. The earth is my playground. I am a human being. Don't categorize me and put me in one box. I'm a human being. So the things that should make me better, I came here to explore Earth, to leave a legacy. And for me, my legacy is love, meaning I want to go happy. Do you understand? So I'm going to live and make myself better to live a more fulfilled life, which comes back to personal development. If you want to be successful and have joy, you need that. So on this, we want to les Africains, surtout les hommes africains. It's okay to relax. It's okay to say I love you. It's okay to be all of that. It doesn't take away from your manhood. Et quand tu vois, parce que je crois que it goes back to childhood. Si ton papa ne te disait pas que oh, mon fils, je suis fier de toi, je t'aime, tu deviendras un homme. He has to start from small. Tu vois un peu. Donc peut-être que les carreaux sont déjà cuits pour nous tous. How about we start now by telling our children, I'm proud of you, you're special, I love you. Parce que quand tu lui dis ça, it reinforces that. And he's used to hearing his father say, I love you. So for him to say I love you is not a big deal.
Yeah.
Parce que tu sais pourquoi, pour nous on dit I love you, c'est seulement entre les copains et copines. It's a relationship. But no, it's to everybody. I don't hang up the phone avec mes nièces or my nephew or my friends that say I love you. For me, it's natural.
Moi, par exemple, à la maison, je dis à ma fille et mon fils que c'est qui vous aime plus que tout le monde?
Papa.
Je réponds que c'est papa et
Exactement.
maman. Moi, je ne sais pas dire directement que je t'aime. C'est qui vous aime plus que tout le monde?
Non, tu vois, d'accord, mais
Mais par contre, c'est une technique de dire ça. Parce que tu n'es pas habitué à dire je t'aime. Mais c'est une technique de dire. Et c'est bien.
Mais il doit travailler aussi ça en même temps.
Oui, toi, tu dois travailler.
Voilà.
Yeah. Donc, quand si tu as ta fille, commence par ta fille si tu as honte de dire ça à ton... Quand elle t'appelle, before tu raccroches, tu dis papa t'aime, je t'aime. It's very important.
Yeah.
It's so, because can't you do that beaucoup, and then find other ways to show it. When a child knows from birth that my parents love me, they become more confident. The self-confidence starts from home. Do you understand? Everything starts from home. If I come from a home where I know that my dad loves me, my mother loves me, I'm not seeking validation from outside or from anybody else. Because I grew up in that environment. Tu vois un peu? And that's what many African parents need to do. Your home should be a safe space for your children. Every day before they walk out, they have to know that they are the most beautiful, the most handsome, the most self-confident, the most appreciated child in the world. So they're not going to go out there and start looking for all that validation because they know when I come home, people love me. If you don't love me, I love you. Tu vois un peu? We need to start practicing that.
I think maybe it need to be included in different schools, because I'm going to quote an example of my own self, my child. I remember he's used to the fact that I always, give him a peck or kiss him. But all of a sudden, when I want to do it, he'll say, no, mommy, I was told it's not good. I was told it's not good.
How old is he?
My son is 6.
6, okay.
Yeah.
So did you have the question, ask him by who?
Yeah, I asked him the question. One, his elder brother told him that, hey,
you're a man.
You're a man. Why should you allow your mother to give you? You need to be strong. You need to, like for him, it's a taboo. And even when you'll tell him, because I'll always say, I love you, baby, he will always, respond, I love you too, mommy. But my son has changed completely. I don't know if it's growth or if it's that they have been stuck things in his head, and at one point he's so shy to,
Yes. So when you start to grow, right? He's at that age. He's almost approaching that. There's a scale. From 1 year to 7 years old, they are open. That's when you have the chance. Parents, if you're listening, if any of you has a child that's between 1 and 7, this is your time to fill their minds with who you want them to be.
Okay.
Because they are wide open from that age.
Okay.
You come in from birth, your subconscious mind is wide open, you're just exploring. So your parents, the immediate family members, and then of course the community, they start watching TV, they start seeing all of those. But from 7, he's approaching that age between 7 and 14 where it's all about peer pressure. It's about the other older boys, right? It's peer pressure, like it's about their peers. So that's where you start to monitor whose voice is getting into their head at this time. You're not going to control it 100%, but you want to be involved so that when he says that, you know how to remove that, to uproot that from his subconscious, so that it doesn't go in there and it's playing in his subconscious mind. That's going to show up. Now, my son was 9, so I used to hug my son, kiss him, do all of that. I noticed when he was about 9 that something started shifting, right, with him. But what happened was, when I realized that he would not do it, I'm like, okay, so why don't you kiss? Because I like forehead kisses. I'm like, so why don't you kiss mommy on her forehead? So my son automatically, because I'm trying to say it's okay to do that touchy feely. I'm not trying you to be this rugged macho man that I see many African, especially Cameroonian men want to be, like so rugged, so rigid. I'm like, there's a time for that when your manhood needs to come through. But when you're with your, especially your woman, there's supposed to be, this is my safe space. When you're with your family, this is my safe space. When you're with your closest friends, my safe space. They only do it when they are with their closest friends. But when it comes to their siblings, their family, their woman, it's that rigidity comes in. And it's from that age. So with my son, I made him do that, and I make sure that even with the nieces, he's being very affectionate. So maybe you can ask your son, okay, so since it's not allowed for me to kiss you, so okay, give mommy a forehead kiss. I didn't tell him that. I just said, okay, go ahead. I need my kiss. So I've done it for you for 9 years, so it's your turn to pay back. And when my son says why, I use a trick. I say, because you lived in my stomach rent-free for 9 months, and now I'm fat.
You feed it for free as
yes,
well.
exactly. So I kept that going. So at least he's still showing some affection.
Okay.
You see what I mean? Yeah.
Now back to the theme, the importance of personal development. I'm sure you've given the importance already. Now I want to ask, are there some benefits of personal development through leadership and coaching? My question is,
Meaning, should leaders develop themselves personally?
Yes, personally.
Yes. Remember what I said before. I didn't say leadership, coaching, and personal development. I always started with personal development. Leadership. You cannot really become a phenomenal leader without personally developing. And I like to use my story. I'm a leadership development consultant, right? It did not happen overnight. I was not always a leader, but I was in position. So I use me as an example, and I love when you walk the path, because you can talk the talk. So when I went to America, I've always been in a leadership. I'm a firstborn, so naturally I always feel like if you're a firstborn, the unction of leadership is on you. God does not make any mistakes. There's a reason why you're leading that family, and it's a responsibility to take with utmost reverence and importance. So I've always led, but when it came to really growing as a leader, okay, I started up in a sales company.
Okay.
So you're building a massive sales team, and I got into a position, senior vice president position, but because I was not really focused on leadership, I was leading the best way that I could. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to talk about 5 levels of leadership. John Maxwell, because I'm a John Maxwell coach as well. The first level is position. You're in that position as a senior vice president, as a mother, as a director, as a general manager, as whoever you are, right? People just follow you because you're in title position. If they do not, you might fire them. You might let them go. So they are not really respecting you. They are just following you because of your title.
Yeah.
And at that level, many people will end up as a positional leader. They have a title because they never grew personally. What do I mean by that? When you're leading people, what do you have to do? You have to communicate. Right? You have to communicate with them. That's the biggest thing. Everything is about communication. What do you see most leaders do? The people who are in position leaders that have not yet grown. We're talking about the importance of the leadership and the coaching. Why a leader right now needs to find a coach to work with them, to show them where their blind spots are. My biggest blind spot was I was always yelling. I was always anxious. I was not proactive in the way I was doing things. I was always tense. I was always nervous if I'm communicating something and they're not getting it. I'm screaming. I'm shouting. But the quality to judge communication is the feedback that I'm getting. If I'm telling them and they're understanding, I should not be repeating the same thing over and over again. So it took one of my mentors then in the business who observed me even in a board meeting. I was an advisory board member for that company for 12 years. And in the advisory board meeting, there's a lingo that you use in the boardroom, right? I was not refined for the boardroom in the beginning, in that first year. And this guy was noticing. I was kicking whatever in terms of production. I was number 1 because I'm excellent with sales and marketing. I could build a team, I could move them, but my leadership skill was not there. And I stayed in that position for a little bit because I didn't know how to do what to do to go to the next level, to be an executive vice president. It took him to tell me, he's like, King, you're very good at what you do. I can tell you, if you and I go out there on the field, I know you're going to leave me in the dust. He said to me, but there's one thing that you need to know. You need to develop your leadership skills. I was like, what do you mean I'm a leader? He said, nope, you're not. He said, look at the way you carry yourself. It's like, do you ever see me losing my composure in front of my team? No. He said, that's leadership. Do you ever see me screaming and shouting when I'm talking? Nope. He said, that's leadership. He said, so I think you need some coaching on leadership to build your leadership skills, your leadership abilities. And I started reading books. You know, I look back now, that was about 15 years ago, and I cringe at who I was. Do you know what I mean? I see some people right now in leadership positions, the way they scream, and I cringe because I want to say I can help you, like, by shouting and screaming and imposing, people don't respect you. So it's like permission. I went from being that just a position leader to now people started respecting me because they wanted to. They started following me not because I was their senior vice president. They started following me because I wanted to. That's when you become a permission leader. And then you get to production where you're producing for the company, you're documented. I was in magazines everywhere. Everybody knew my name. So they're following you. But then I finally got to where I am right now, where I call people development.
Okay.
That's a level of leadership. I know I'm there. You don't have to tell me. Because you read the books where it's about, now I'm here. When it comes to all of this, people follow me because they want to. Everywhere you take me, I'll produce. Now it's like, how do I turn around and duplicate myself in others? How do I teach you how to become a leader?
A leader.
I'm teaching you strategies and everything, but how do I help you become the best version of yourself? Refined, not forced. Meaning that's you in every scenario. And how would you judge? You would say, 5 years ago, you could have done something to me that will make me angry for 2 years, not talk to you for 2 years. Right now, Kathy, if you do the same thing to me, the maximum that it would take me is 2 weeks. And I have to tell you something. For somebody to make me angry for 2 weeks, you have to be someone very, very close to me.
Okay.
Everybody else, whatever you say to me, by the time I turn and walk away, I'm done. I don't even think about it anymore. Do you know what I mean? So you will know if you're growing because of how you're reacting to things.
Donc ça veut dire que c'est un travail personnel.
And that's what personal development is. It's very important because it's about continuous improvement. Même dans le travail, you have to continuously improve. So personal development is, the key word is, what am I missing right now? What are my blind spots in leadership? What are my blind spots in as far as communication goes? So a leader needs a coach to coach them on their blind spots.
Okay.
I can look at you and go, you know what? Yes, this is your business, it's going good, but the way you talk to your employees is terrible. The way you interact with them is terrible. You don't even know them. You could do this to get your employees to become raving fans. That's the difference between a leader who is about people development and a leader who is more about my position. When your employees see you come in the dock, they go the other door, le boss arrive, or when they see you, they start trembling. It shouldn't be like that. You should be, you still have respect. You see what I mean? There's a way to still, I could play with you, talk to you, but you know your limits. I don't have to yell for you to know where you are.
Yeah.
But when I talk to people in Cameroon, they go, oh, you have to talk to them because they have to know their position. No. My very presence tells you what you can do. You're going to try it, but the way I will respond to you is just that look. It's the confidence that lets you know, I shouldn't mess with her. I don't have to scream, shout, yell. I'm not saying you will not, but you should not exaggerate it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, he does.
So every leader needs to be conscious of personal development, and that's where the coaching comes in.
Now, I don't know if I'm wrong. Does it mean that, like, to be a leader, or for a leader to have a good communication skills, the leader needs coaching? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes. Everybody needs coaching.
Okay.
But for a leader, if you notice that you're lacking in communication, in how to communicate, then you need a coach to help you with that.
But how do you know you're lacking in communication? That's the first thing, because first of all, you need to know personally.
I have to be honest. I have to be honest with you. 9 out of 10 times we know what the problem is.
Yeah, it's true.
I have to be very honest with you.
It's very,
9 out of 10. Don't think that these people don't know, right? You know that the problem. If you're not communicating effectively, we came with this beautiful thing called a conscience or voice. You know.
Yes, it's true.
You know that I'm not communicating, and so I'm not communicating effectively means what is it that makes me constantly just yell and shout? Because after you yell and shout, you don't feel good. So there has to be something that says, what can I do to not feel? Now, for most employers or most leaders, they would dismiss the person or fire the person. But what I always say is, as a leader, if you're listening to me, you have to see everybody who comes in front of you as a mirror.
Yeah.
As a reflection of you. That's how I look at me every day. Even with people I interact with, I go back and ask myself, why did I have to come here and meet with Kathy and Calvino and you today? How did I attract this? And what did I learn from you and what did you learn from me? So when things show up in your life, you have to see it as a mirror. It's you who invited that thing in to show you you. If you can see it in you, your friends, your children, your interactions, why did this happen? What did I do to attract this? If you can just do that little thing, your whole life will change. Do you understand? So the way they are communicating, let's say even in a meeting, you will know, because sometimes when you present your paper or you're in your board meeting, everybody's listening, everybody gets you, or somebody else is doing that. When you do it, it's like boring, you can't really, so you should know because of the feedback that you're getting from your colleagues. You see, if there's somebody around you, you're all leaders, they get more feedback and people are gravitating toward them, go up to them and say, where do I need to improve? And let me tell you the $1 million secret. Every successful person I know has a coach.
Has a coach. Okay.
No winner ever gets there without a coach. The moment you stop and think that you're too big for that, you stifle your growth.
Very important.
The moment you start thinking that I don't need anybody to tell me what to do, you've stifled your growth. What will happen is you see people who are maybe at a certain level, they may not be paying that coach every month, right? But they can always go back to them and bounce ideas off of them. Do you understand? At that circle, you start seeing them having what we call a mastermind. You have a couple of friends who are like you. You can get together maybe once a month on a call or webinar, or we go out for coffee. My friends and I in America, we go out and we just talk. Like, what are you working on? What's going on? And we kind of help each other through everything. But we're all coaches. We're all people developers. Do you understand? I always post about them if you see me and them. It's a mastermind. We're getting together, and at the end of it, it might be, you know what? Maybe did you read this book? We're recommending books to each other. Hey, I just finished reading this book. You should. That's constant coaching, continuous improvement. We go to seminars. We go to events. We watch programs that are uplifting, like this one. This is a very important conversation to have. So that is a very important thing. As a leader, you have to communicate, especially if you're leading, especially the ones in companies. So,
donc forcément, oui, vas-y, tu veux poser une question?
Je me l'ai dit, Vox Pop.
Ah non, non.
Ok, there's no Vox Pop.
On dit que l'éducation et l'alphabétisation, ça nous favorise par rapport à la prise de parole, leadership et tout et tout. Bon, on dit aussi qu'il y a Photo Victor qui n'a pas eu tout ça. Il a vendu les archives. Aujourd'hui, il est devenu un grand leader, prise de parole. Comment est-ce qu'on explique ça?
Je peux te demander une question. Il est mort, n'est-ce pas? Où est sa société aujourd'hui?
Mais quand même, il a réussi, il a prospéré.
Donc, quand on parle de leadership et personal development, est-ce que c'est l'argent? Non. Est-ce qu'il a fait l'argent ou est-ce qu'il était un leader? And I'm asking.
Il a fait
I
l'argent.
don't know. Exactly. There's a big difference between being successful, making money, and being about personal development and being a leader. I know so many crazy wealthy people who are the most annoying people to be around. Arrogant, their ego, insulting, condescending, and I'm not talking even, I'm talking about, I know a billionaire personally in America who is, you don't even want to be around them. And bring it back to Cameroon. Tu ne connais pas les gens qui sont riches, but you don't want to be around them. They insult you, they look down on you, they talk down on you. That's okay, that's not different, that's hustle. Though everybody who has a hustling spirit can make money. But before you become a leader, you have to go through personal development.
Okay.
Being able to manage your temperament, being able to communicate, being able to, emotional intelligence is a big one when it comes to that. Being able to understand when to talk to someone, when not to talk to someone, read your employee, your partner, and see, or my children, my wife, and say something is going on with Mireille. Let me pull Mireille and say, Mireille, est-ce que ça va? Qu'est-ce qui ne va pas? J'ai rencontré I would say, parmi tout, j'ai rencontré un monsieur ici au Cameroun, il est DMG de une de vos sociétés. Il m'a tellement impressionné. Parce qu'en parlant, on parlait effectivement de ça. Et il m'a dit, il avait une employée qui était super. Elle était super. Mais dernièrement, dans la réunion, quand il faisait l'évaluation, il a constaté qu'elle a baissé. So la ressource humaine, she dropped.
Yes.
Mais personne dans la ressource humaine thought about, let me ask her, what is going on? This is somebody who has consistently been good for 2 years. All of a sudden, is down. So you grade her bad. That's lack of emotional intelligence on the part of their human resources. Et il a vu ça. And he said, I need her number. They were like, oh, I need her number. Il a appelé. Quand il a dit que c'est le monsieur le DG, elle croyait que c'était it was a prank. But when he explained why he was calling, she was like, oh my goodness. And by the end, he found out this girl was going through a lot. But nobody picked it up. Personal development. But you see, because he had grown as a leader, he could recognize that.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean? She was going through a period in her life at home that was affecting her work. And that's what you need. Personal development will help with emotional intelligence. You have to be able to look at your employees, your executives, and understand that something is going on because they bring baggage from home to work. This person might be going through a divorce, their marriage may be going through the rocks, their in-laws may be bugging them, their children may be sick, but they don't feel comfortable bringing it to work, but they're at work and they're not fully present because of all these things that are happening. You see, but only a leader who is interested in personal development, has read the books, has the coaches, has gone to the seminars, understands this aspect of things. But another business owner will just come there, I'm paying you, pourquoi? Je te paie tout mon argent, tu ne travailles pas, fous-moi le camp, blah, 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 without really understanding.
C'est vrai.
You see what I mean?
C'est vrai.
There you go.
Ok, rappelons que c'est King. Emeldine, autant pour moi. Emeldine King NJOYA qui nous parle ce matin. Donc vous pouvez voir son nom. Elle est coach. Elle est auteure, elle est speaker, elle est coach et elle est consultante aussi. Ceci m'amène justement à poser la question sur à savoir sur le développement, les quatre raisons pour lesquelles le développement personnel, le développement du leadership est important maintenant.
It's very important. Again, number one, remember I said to be successful and to live a fulfilled life. Right?
On vit ça comment? On dit que be successful, oui.
What is
success? Et maintenant,
si tu veux réussir dans la vie et être contente, tu dois penser à personal development. And how leadership affects that.
Okay.
Une des choses que personal development fait for you, can help you with, is just that self-awareness.
Okay.
Tu comprends un peu? I'm looking for self-awareness. Quel est le mot en français?
Le bien-être.
Le bien-être. Savoir comment communiquer. Because self-awareness means I know what my strengths are. I know what my weaknesses are. I know what my values are. Mes valeurs. Si tu connais, because tu ne peux pas savoir ça if you're not thinking about personal development. There are many people who don't know. That's why everything goes. You don't even know what your weaknesses are. I could tell you all my weaknesses. I could tell you all my strengths. I could tell you what my values are in every area of my life. I know what my values are. When it comes to my business, my work and my business is one bucket for me. My relationships are one bucket for me, meaning my friends and my family. My intimate relationship is also one. I can tell you exactly what my values are in that. So much so that if I'm interacting with you and you're constantly breaking my values, I know we cannot be friends. I'm always angry because of this. Do you understand? I value this, you value that. I value this, you value that. And I'll tell you, these are my values. And I'll tell you, listen, Kathy, I like you as a friend, but we cannot be that close. You know why? Because for me, these are my values. And I see that they conflict with your values. So instead of us trying to keep butting heads, we can't be hanging out every single day like that. Even in my relationships, I'll do it. I'm not just going to, I'll observe you and I'll tell you, listen, for me, these are my values and I feel like you've broken them. I can't trust you anymore. I don't see how we can continue. Tu vois un peu? So if I'm saying that to you as a friend, unless if you want to work towards it and you tell me what yours are, most people don't even know what their values are. So anything goes. But, so if you're not doing personal development, you will not know what your core values are. You won't even know what your core beliefs are. Because you just take the beliefs of the society. It's why you keep saying, oh, nous sommes les Africains. I don't buy into that belief. I don't buy into the fact that I should be doing things this way just because I'm African. No, I'm an African, yes, but I live in a global world. I'm not confined to just African. I'm exposed. So in terms of that, just that self-awareness, it is very, very, very important for leadership, because you're going to need things to communicate with people and things like that. It's good. How about even for just your own peace of mind? What personal development will do for you is it'll give you the ability to mind your own business. And to understand that I cannot control what Mireille is going to do. I can only control what I'm going to do. So whatever Mireille is going to do is not going to throw me so off that I completely go off balance. You see what I mean? So you can maintain your sanity. That it's very, and you cannot be able to maintain your sanity without personal development.
D'accord. Donc ça veut dire que tout le monde a besoin d'un coach. A besoin d'un coach. Bon, maintenant, alors, est-ce que tout le monde a la possibilité d'avoir un coach pour pouvoir...
Yes. I think that everyone can have a coach at their level. You see what I mean? At their level. So coaches pay you, I know because of payment, right? There might be a coach there that can say, hey, tu me pay 10 000 par mois. I can do a coaching session with you. There's another coach that will say, oh, tu me pay 25 000 par mois. There's another one that will say 100 000. It depends on what you're getting, the value, but at least try to get a coach to help you.
Il y a le coach qui va seulement vouloir que tu donnes un pain de nourriture tous les midis.
We have a message.
Okay.
We have a message. I have my last question, maybe after reading the message. Okay. Good morning, madam. I like your expression on these. There are situations where you try to lead, but things don't work out well as intended. Now it is good to be despotic for things to go well, if that's the only way.
It's good to...
Despotic. I don't know what that means.
Read that.
I don't know what
question.
Having unlimited power. I think that's the meaning. Yes.
Is she asking a question or?
Okay, that you need to have only like despotic, unlimited power.
For what?
Okay. Good morning, madam. I like your expressions on this. There are situations where you try to lead, but things don't work out well as intended. Now it is good to be despotic for things to go well, if that's the only way. That you need to have unlimited power. You need to be a little bit soft for things to, like as a leader, maybe you don't need to be too. But I think that's what he's trying.
Okay, is it he or she?
Yes, I don't know if it's a he or she.
So that's another thing. That's another place where leadership comes in. Does leadership mean that you always have to be right? That's something to think about. So just because I'm the boss and I'm the leader, does everything I say have to be correct? No. You see what I mean? So leadership is not, oh, everything I say is law. Everything I say is everything that you guys have to follow. No, a leader is somebody who says, this is my idea. Are there other suggestions? But I realize that in Cameroon in particular, many people are into command and control in terms of leadership. It's command and control. I say this and you do it, then I wouldn't even take the blame if it doesn't work. So what she's trying to say is, as a leader, you should be able to bring other people's opinions to the table. You know how we always say two heads are better than one? But ultimately, I will make the decision as a leader if it comes to that. And making a decision also means, you know what, maybe my idea is not the best one. We're going to fall back and take the janitor, the gate man's idea, because this is what makes more sense at this point in time. You see what I mean? So it's more of a democratic kind of leadership style where you're getting everybody's feedback before you make a decision. But you also have to ask yourself, when I'm making a decision and people are pushing back, is it just one person pushing back, or is it almost everybody in my leadership team? You see what I mean? So leaders should be able to do that, because sometimes I think leaders get confused with trying to impose their strategy on a team that does not think is the best, but it's more from the ego perspective. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Anyway, there's no time because I really want to expatiate on
Il y a une question, on va
No,
bientôt.
it's a question. The question on is the same person. He said, "Is it good to be despotic?" You've answered already.
Yes, it's very good to be a leader who gets feedback from all the people that you're working with. It doesn't even mean a big company. Every project that you're trying to do, ask, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? You take all the ideas, you put them together, and you come up with the best. Because your mind alone cannot produce all the ideas, especially if you're a leader who's very good at communicating vision. That's actually, for me, that's every CEO. If you don't know how to clearly communicate your vision, your team cannot be inspired or motivated to achieve that.
Not shouting.
Not shouting. Communicating the vision. I'm telling you where I'm going. It's like everyone I've talked to, they understand exactly what I'm trying to achieve in Africa, starting with Cameroon. I've been very clear in what I'm here to do. So it's easy for me to get, and I think I came with one idea. It has morphed into what is happening right now, but that's because I was open. I was bouncing ideas off of, and now that's a key thing. You don't bounce ideas off of your friends that you drink with in the nightclub, in the bars, get drunk and crap like that. You bounce ideas out for people who are reputable, who are documented in what they do. Do you see what I mean? You don't take advice from anybody, because here's what I always say. You guys hear this? Whoever you take advice from, you're buying their lifestyle. And if I don't want to buy your lifestyle, I don't need your advice. Does that make sense? I have to see that you're achieving something. So I'm coming to you for this, not for anything else. In terms of strategy, building my business, you've succeeded in what you're doing. The principles of success are the same across the board. So I'm asking them to give me feedback to where I am right now.
Oh, Emeldine, on peut rester jusqu'à demain, il n'y a pas de problème. Je t'assure. Rappelons que Emeldine va donner une conférence de presse. Ce sera le 24 octobre à K-Hotel entre 13h et 20h. Sur le thème Brave, Bold and Beautiful. Pour les femmes, hein, bien sûr. C'est une, voilà. Brave, Bold and Beautiful. I like it. I didn't even think about it. Alors, pour tout, si vous avez bien envie, vous allez dans www.igniteourlife.com. Ignite, là, c'est IGNITE. Our Life, c'est pas live, but life. www.igniteourlife.com ou alors emeldine@igniteourlife.com pour la retrouver. Vous aurez toutes les informations à propos de cette brave dame parce qu'elle est vraiment brave, brave, bold and beautiful.
Et surtout, il faut qu'il me suive sur LinkedIn et Facebook. Dans LinkedIn, Emeldine King NJOYA, and then Facebook at Emeldine. I'll be updating as I'm going through with the conference, right, for next month. Because I might move it to Saturday. There's some people thinking about moving it to Saturday.
Yes, I think it's better.
Yes. So on LinkedIn, I'll be updating, and on Facebook also, I'll be updating about that. And if anything changes, don't know. Emeldine King NJOYA. Don't find me, you can't miss it.
Ok.
Je suis la sœur reine qui s'appelle Roi. The only queen called King.
Vraiment, merci beaucoup d'avoir vraiment inspiré beaucoup pendant ce programme de rendez-vous. Et puis, et surtout, donner les clés du leadership pour ceux qui n'en avaient pas et qui ils peuvent maintenant avoir une certaine idée et dans le développement personnel. On en a besoin en Afrique, rappelons. En Afrique, on en a besoin.
Et je suis là.
Je connais un coach a dit qu'on n'a pas besoin de développement. On ne doit même pas parler de développement personnel en Afrique.
I can't believe somebody said that. I don't think he's a coach. I hate to say that, he's not a coach. I don't like it because everybody goes out there, they throw the term loosely. I'm a life coach, I'm a this coach. No, you're not. You have to, parce que quand tu dis ça, tu n'es pas. Not even at all. Every single human being is constantly in need of improvement.
Il drive beaucoup de gens. Hein?
Yeah.
C'était un plaisir de t'avoir. Bonne continuation, Cathy.
Thank you, Mireille. Thank you very much for that wonderful explicit insight on personal growth, leadership, and coaching. Now I know that in order to be a good leader, I need to go through personal growth.
Yes.
Leadership.
Oh, yeah. Calvino.
Un leader sait ce qu'il faut faire, alors qu'un manager sait seulement comment faire. Donc un manager, c'est le petit frère d'un leader.
There you go.
Merci, tonton Calvino. Allez, merci. On n'a pas besoin de crier pour se faire entendre, mais on doit donner et savoir apprendre aussi les appréhensions des autres les émotions des autres, jouer avec les émotions des autres, c'est très important. Dieu vous bénisse, c'était un plaisir de vous avoir pour la première de cette semaine dans The Rendez-vous, à The Rendez-vous. Demain, c'est un autre jour, on se retrouvera encore quand il sera 10h. D'ici là, portez-vous bien, que Dieu vous bénisse. Ciao. Ciao.
Bye bye.